Yo, so listen to me, but it doesn't even matter. The Commander format panel really thought they cooked with this announcement that they dropped to us today. And guess what? They didn't even turn the stove on. There was nothing there. The pot was empty, no water, nothing to be boiled. And I want to go ahead and talk about it. So, as we see, we had announcements today that two cards were unbanned for Commander, which one was Biorhythm and the other one was Lutri. Now, does this shake the game up at all? In my opinion, hell no. There's no way. Two cards out of all this time that we had, two cards got taken off the list. Two? No bans? Nothing? But we're going to go ahead and talk about it anyway. So we got this guy here, Gavin Verhey, on behalf of the Command Format panel. In April of last year, they made their first changes to Commander ban and restricted list. At that time, they said they weren't going to touch much of the list for the rest of the year, and we've come back this year to discuss it, and here we are. So think about this. Since April of last year, April, we had all this time to talk and plot and look at, EDH Rec Top 16, all this stuff, and see all these CDH tournaments that are going on and see what is like really impacting the format. And guess what they did? They took two lackluster cards off the ban list for what? For what? What does it do for us? It does absolutely nothing for us. But we're going to keep going. There's another article up today talking about where we see the format, what we expect this year, hybrid mana, game changes, and blah, blah, blah. We don't care about none of that. We just want to get to the cards that were taken off the list. And I think they could have just dropped this on X or dropped this on TikTok and just say, yo, emergency unban for Biorhythm, emergency unban of Lutri. Instead of having people waiting, anticipating, calculating, foaming at the mouth, hoping that some cards that would actually maybe shake the format up, give it a little bit of life, give it a little bit of pizzazz. But they said, nah, we're not doing none of that for y'all. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the first card, which is Biorhythm. So Biorhythm is a 8 mana sorcery that says each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls. And what they say about this card, we will read briefly. Biorhythm has the potential to be a powerful card again in the game on the spot for a player with no creatures, and you can set up board states where you can take out all 3 opponents in a single go. Honestly, let's look at the game, right? There's way too many decks out here creating tokens, big creatures, indestructible creatures, all these type of hexproof. Ward is a thing. People are not letting board wipes go through. They're just not doing that. And also, people aren't really running board wipes like that anyway. 1, maybe 2. The occasional control deck might be 3, maybe. So overall, I don't see where this does anything at all. You're going to spend 8 mana to potentially maybe drop someone's life. Let's say they're at 30 and drop it to what? I don't know, 10? Cool. The only life that really matters is the last life you have left. And if you're just not winning the game, you've wasted 8 mana. 8. 8. So imagine if your board state isn't set to the point that you have enough mana to really, or have enough creatures to really benefit from this. Like, well, how do you benefit from this? Let's say you're at low life and you cast this card, and in response, someone lightning bolts you, and then this card resolves. And then guess what? You're dead. 8 mana. No way. There's absolutely no way. So they continue on to say, we talked about this card a lot last year and ultimately decided to leave it on the ban list for the first go around. Its potential strength and a disproportionate impact to the player to your right was something we noted and decided to hold off on. Potential. Potential means nothing if it's not showing anything. And if every time this card gets played and it's countered, or it gets played and it does not just win you the game, what are you doing? Like, it's not doing anything. You know what card is brutal? A 7-mana Overload Cyclonic Rift. Now that'll hurt you. Let's talk about a 6-cost Farewell. If that resolves, yikes, that stings. Supreme Verdict, it can't be countered. It's 1 white, white, blue for 4. You know that is going through. This for 8. You are doing this on your turn unless you spend what? 2 mana to Born Upon the Wind. Oh, guess what? That's a total of 10 mana. If you're sitting with 10 mana open, someone's gonna know you're up to some foolishness and they're not letting that go. Chances are, if it makes it around, you untap with 10 mana and you just pass your turn, bro, I'm coming to kill you. I'm coming to take you out of the game. That's it. There's no talking about it. That's very suspicious. So I don't see where Biorhythm is gonna really do anything to like shake up the game for casual. No one's playing this in bracket 5. I wouldn't play this in bracket 4. I wouldn't play this in just funsies because this card does not impact the game how it used to. The game is too fast. There's too many counter spells. There's too many ways to interact to really make this card great. It just there's no way. We respect those concerns about ending the game and sitting to the Biorhythm players' right as a big disadvantage. We have now successfully unbanned several expensive spells that radically warp or end their game that no one plays, like Worldfire and, Sway of the Stars, which no one is playing, and Coalition Victory, which no one is playing. And I play with a lot of people. You're not playing these cards. You're just wasting a slot. All of those have ultimately turned out just fine. Of course, because no one is playing them. So, of course, it feels fine because no one is playing them. So you don't see them. I guess no harm, no foul, right? While Biorhythm is stronger, easier to set up, and yes, can make the game unsatisfyingly end, it takes enough setup and has enough counterplay that is far from an auto-include. As a situational 8-mana sorcery, there are plenty of times where it's a weak draw. I think it's always going to be a weak draw. Listen, if you guys can comment down below and let me know when this card is actually going to be busted for a build that you have, please send me the deck list because there's no way. The game is too fast. The game is too efficient now. Every card that you play in your deck, you're not playing bad cards in your deck. And sad to say, this is a bad card. This card is not good anymore. It's not good. As we expect, there's some risk here. It is also a card with big moments that will generate some excitement. I personally can imagine a lot of games totally turned upside down in a memorable way as the Biorhythm resolve and suddenly the game has changed. It makes for a very memorable experience as long as it isn't happening too often. So let's think about this. Like we just talked about, if this card does not win right now when it's cast, or you don't have a way to get your opponents low enough to delete them all in that turn that you cast this, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You just won't. Life gain is a thing. There's plenty of ways to gain a lot of life. There's plenty of punchy things on the board. Like, it's not removing anything from the board. So if they just punch back, it might not matter in the first place. Like all of the previously unbanned cards, this will immediately be put on the game changers list as well, where it belongs. This card quite definitionally changes the game. I don't believe that. I think this card is just very mid, very average, and it's not going to do much for people. Let's talk about Lutri the Spellchaser. Now, I've seen this card before, never been hype about the card. I heard there was something about it being a companion, and if you use it as your companion, you can cast it once from outside the game. You can copy some crazy spells as long as you have, Izzet colors. I'm not even going to waste a lot of time with this, right? All it did was buff Izzet. You could just, have it outside the game, copy a instant or sorcery that you have. Come on, man. Like, ooh, whatever. It's literally whatever. Like, the unbanning is cool. Okay, give us more. Give us something else. This is cutesy. This is fun, right? Lutri itself is far from too strong of a card in the game of Commander. However, the problem is that if Lutri is legal as a companion, every deck for the rest of the time that has a blue-red color identity should have Lutri as a companion. There's absolutely no downside to doing so. We don't want red-blue decks to have access to an extra card in every game of Commander for all time, and it's not like it's a color combination that needs the help. Nor has players who don't have access to Lutri get told they have to play Lutri. It's a really undesirable outcome to add a card that shows up at the level of ubiquity. So you're trying to tell me this one card? So you're trying to tell me anyone that has Izzet Grixis having one additional card as a companion is really going to just absolutely shatter the game? Most of these instants and sorcerers right now probably winning the game on their own. They don't really need a copy. Is this card like kind of cool? Yeah, it's cool. You're going to run in your 99. Probably you'll just run it beside a Dualcaster Mage. All right, cool. You going to run it as your commander? Nah. Someone has one home, the 99. And I still don't think it's going to be as impactful. Unless you're running something that flickers it over and over and over, and you're just stacking a storm count. I could see that. But I just think it would be too many hoops to try to jump through to be like, yo, this card is absolutely going to break red, blue, X color. I just don't see it coming. But I guess only time will tell. We're not even going to go through this. And then they talked about additional cards that they discussed quite heavily, which I just don't agree with. These cards are not being unbanned today, but we welcome your feedback on whether you think they should be unbanned in the future. So what did this past year do when we were talking about, hey, ban this card, unban this card, hey, let's ban this card? What type of feedback was that? Did you receive the feedback? Did you acknowledge any of it? To give us the 2 unbans that we have? Trash, boy, trash. Sundering Titan. Sundering Titan was banned at a time where you could play, find a way to easily blink it. Did I navigate it? Of course, I get that. And absolutely ruined everyone's mana base. Commander has come a long time since then. Get to those kind of board states happen a lot less often. While Land Denial is never the most fun, it's possibly now that it's actually a time of punishing a ramping mana bases full of triomes and dual lands actually a bit heroic. So anybody know about Sundering Titan, when it enters the battlefield or leaves, choose a land of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. It's land destruction. Now, I'm not gonna say, hey, bring it back, because if this is a leave or enter. So Derevi goes crazy with this. It's just first card off my hand. Derevi goes absolutely insane with a Sundering Titan, and you just destroy all your opponent's lands. Card's kind of crazy. They would have to make it a game changer, of course, because this is power, right? And it's an artifact. A lot of ways to cheat out artifacts real early, real quick. And yeah. So you would just run some type of colorless type Ulalek if you wanted to. All colorless mana, and you just flicker this man's and do some crazy things. And there's so many different routes that you can go with this. I can understand if this doesn't come back, cool. I kind of get it. So, however, with all that said, this remains quite unfun. While a lot of players are using brackets, plenty don't, and that means the card should just show up on a lot of tables and cause frustration in games. It is powerful land destruction, which is perhaps the most hated mechanic in all of Commander. I don't believe that. I think Mill is. But and as a colorless artifact, and going to any deck can be ramped out. If it goes wrong, it can go really wrong. So we decided not to touch it in this go around, but we love your thoughts. My thoughts, honestly, you can leave it where it's at for now. But honestly, I just don't hear about land destruction. I don't hear about Mill really being like a crazy archetype in EDH. Could it happen? Of course. If you give us something like this, someone might say, oh man, I got a commander in a deck just for this guy. And then just ramp him out every turn. They dump him to the yard, they reanimate him, do all type of crazy stuff, and you're like, the game might just be over. So, can it still be on the ban list? Cool. I got a copy of one. If they unban it, I can't lie, I'm probably gonna abuse them. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I own a Shield of Emery, she is a 9 cost. I have a copy of her as well. Flying, whenever she enters, choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spell of the chosen color. Now, this card's kind of crazy. We're not going to say in front. We're not going to bash everything. This card's kind of crazy. Now, it's 9 mana. Cool. But there's always cost reducers. There's ramp. There's things that just you can do some crazy shenanigans and get her out early. And all it takes is to pick the right color of the majority of your pod. You lock them out. Give her indestructible. Give her hexproof. Give her ward. And the game's over. Like, to not be able to cast the spell of a chosen color is, hey, that's tough business, right? Now imagine there's effects that you can clone her in, but the clones won't be legendary. So then you pick 2 colors. Now the game's over. Everybody might as well scoop their stuff up and run the next game. They probably won't even play the next game with you because, yeah, I think this card is kind of toxic. Only thing that I would do is, like, it is a 9-cost, but it's scary. Like we say, the game is a lot faster nowadays, and you just don't know. You might get bopped early with an Iona, and it's just game over for you. So I don't think that's a bad call. Now, this one right here is my dog, Griselbrand. I played this card when it was standard, and I loved it so much. There was no better feeling than reanimating a Griselbrand. There's no better feeling than swinging with Griselbrand, and then you paying 7 life and you drawing 7 cards, and then you paying 7 more life to draw 7 cards, and then you give this guy double strike. Come on now. Now, this is one card I did want back. I've read a lot of stuff with people like, yo, Griselbrand would probably break some things in the game. Black has probably the biggest ramp package outside of, like, green when it comes to, like, elves. Could get Griselbrand out real early. And then Commander might just be a bad day. Like, if you don't have a way to interact, it might be dunzo. Now, what I would like, honestly, if they banned him from being a commander, kind of how they did Lutri, you can't make it a commander, a companion. If you made this guy not be able to be your commander, I think it would be fair. It would be more like online of like a Shieldred or a Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Like, these are powerful cards, right? But I think Griselbrand, honestly, as a commander, would be kind of nuts. If you hit the draws just right and just ramp him out turn 2, turn 3, yo, it's gonna be bad business. It's like necropotence on a creature, but you keep getting the life back. Like, you can't really go wrong with that, right? So, they're already saying Griselbrand's not coming back. So, for all of you that own one like myself, man, just let it sit nice and pretty in the book. And the homie, man, the homie, yo. You know Griselbrand's not coming back. They had a little bit of information about they would like to talk about Jeweled Lotus in here. And they're not going to unban it. That's not to say that an unban in the future is impossible, but it's staying banned at this time. As much of what I said last year still applies. Whatever. These are the 2 cards that we talked about, and I think everyone was like super focused on which one of these 2s were getting hit today. I think a lot of people were one way with Thassa's Oracle, because I feel like a lot of people are tired of the Thassa Oracle, Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pack, and the many routes that you can go with Thassa's Oracle, right? And they got tired of Rhystic Study. Now, if I had to choose out of one to stay, I think honestly, wholeheartedly, I'd probably pick Oracle. You have to have a lot of pieces. Well, I won't say a lot. You have to have the 2 cards that really get you online for your Oracle. You stop one of those, okay, you might be okay, right? Other people in the pod, chances are they see your mirror colors. They're going to kind of be on alert for Thassa's Oracle if you're running like bracket 4 CDH. So I think out of the 2, Thassa's Oracle is a little bit of the lesser evil. But Rhystic Study, man. Rhystic Study, does things to a pod. Because every spell you cast, do you pay the 1? Do you pay the 1? Do you pay the 1? Will you pay the 1? Rhystic Study, trigger on the stack. And you hear this 5-6 times before you even pass turn. It's like, yo. And then, of course, no one really assesses because they're trying to min-max all their mana and gun their turn. It's like, yo, gotta pay some of these taxes because we're going to just get left behind. And Rhystic Study will definitely get you left behind. Now, people talk about Mystic Remora, Smothering Tithe. These cards they're not the same. They're not the same as Rhystic Study. Like, I would say Smothering Tithe still gives you a resource in treasures. But if you don't have no cards in hand because you blew your hand out, the treasures don't really matter, in my opinion. But you see option after option after option after option. Now you can craft your next turn because you have so many options in hand. Versus Smothering Tithe, you might have 15 treasures on the board, but if you don't have any quality cards in hand or your hand has a low volume of cards, it doesn't really matter. Unless you're playing a deck that just utilizes, treasures like that or artifacts. Now that could be something with Academy Manufacturer. But I feel like one of these cards should have got hit today. I think that was a big miss by the committee. But maybe we'll have to see in the next 4 to 5 months if they want to do anything, if they actually do something to shake the format up. We'll just have to see. Other than that, there's really nothing much on here. On behalf of the Commander format, it's so frustrating. Oh, and also Farewell got put on the game changer list, which I don't disagree with that. Farewell is a pretty solid board wipe. Honestly, because it doesn't destroy. If stuff has indestructible, cool. Hexproof, cool. Ward, cool. It doesn't matter. It's just gonna oh, it resolved. Well, I'm gonna hit this, and this. Oh, your graveyard? Artifacts? Enchantments? Creatures? Y'all can all go. We can exile. We can start this game all over. So for them putting down the game changers list, I think that was honestly a good call. But overall, I feel like this announcement was wasted time, wasted anticipation for people that were hoping that there were going to be some real shakedown in the community. And I hope whenever they plan this next announcement that they really sit back and think about the community, because this honestly just felt like very poor effort. They just gave us something to talk about in Biorhythm and Lutri. This is not going to shake the game up at all. I promise you. When has the last time you've seen anyone resolve a Coalition of Victory or Sway of the Stars or World Fire? Think about that. When has it happened? It hasn't. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on these announcements that we had. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all, committee, y'all better not do this again. But y'all gonna have to answer to me. All right? And y'all don't want to do that. Don't do that to yourself. I'm out of here.